One of the things that I wanted to get to, and I want to be clear here on the front end, that this is not directed primarily at Craig Carton, who has said publicly in a way that is very accountable that all of his mistakes that made him a prison number are damaging, and I believe in general terms in everyone deserving second chances, especially and in cases where they have paid in a way that is punitive for their crimes in this case or their mistakes when they don't elevate to crimes. So I want to make that clear on the front end that I don't want to rip a guy who had a gambling problem, who is a convicted felon, for having a gambling problem. Addiction grabs human beings and can be difficult.
Thank you.
But as it relates to our sorry, sad sack, awful industry that employs people who are largely interchangeable, the idea that Fox would give a convicted felon a promotion when that opportunity would never go, in my history doing this, to somebody who isn't white is such an indictment of everything around me that I find it deeply offensive about our industry that after making that mistake on a platform, Greg Cody, we are so interchangeable, all of us. The idea that Craig Carton, who recently said of Shohei Ohtani, wake me up when he makes the postseason. Shohei Ohtani, who leads the Angels, Greg, in runs, hits, home runs, walks, RBIs, stolen bases, average, on-base percentage, slugging, OPS, wins, strikeouts, and earned run average.
He should make the playoffs then.
It's a good
Plus,
take.
He doesn't lead the team in doubles.
So you're talking about...
He can't be that good.
And Mike Trout is on the team, too.
Brandon Drury leads the doubles.
How about triples?
So the former felon that Fox hired was Craig Carton and not Michael Pompeo. I was way off.
It is an indictment of the industry
He
at large.
doesn't lead in doubles. It's such a great comeback.
Or triples, I guess. Yes, he doesn't lead in triples as well.
He does
lead in triples.
Oh, does he?
Yeah,
Walks.
he leeds in triples. It's walks and doubles as a
good for him.
hitter.
Don't
No, I
disrespect
think
him.
he leads in walks.
Mike Trout has 39 walks. Shohei Ohtani has 38.
Wow,
He led.
slacker.
When I got the stat, he led. Mike Trout passed him and walked.
Mike Trout wants him to leave, right?
No, they're finally good.
No.
Well, they're all right. They're in the hunt.
No, they're 41 and 33. Standings, Mike.
Could you imagine being as overwhelmingly incredible at your sport as Mike Trout is and being very obviously the second best player on your team?
He was the greatest player in the history of the world
Right.
forever, and then his teammates better than him.
Yeah.
He wants him to leave, right?
No.
He wants him to go.
He wants to make the playoffs.
No, he wants to be the best again.
Not where I was going with any of this. I appreciate the detour as I
Back to Carton.
as I do all the time. But what an indictment of our industry at large, honestly. That is something that's happening when we're all really disposable, and the idea that someone would have that kind of offer to remake their career, it's stupefying. It's just not something that would happen in many other places, and it's not something certainly that would happen when somebody was a convicted felon and not a white person. It's not something that would have any precedent in this business. I don't know if it bothers the audience at large, but it just speaks so ill of what is our industry.
Do you really think that there's that much disposability in this industry? I mean,
Yes.
when I think of somebody like Stephen A. Smith, I don't think of him as being disposable. I think of him as being one of a kind, unique, and the opposite of disposable.
I think that the platforms, if I give them to just about anybody, and they have given them to just about anybody, we are proof of that people can have success if you give them the platforms. The platforms are the ones that are responsible. Hell, Stephen A. Smith failed on that platform and then made his way back. It doesn't mean he's not unique. You went to the top of the food chain. I will tell you that drive time hosts in America, drive time radio hosts, totally interchangeable.
Usually people do like a comeback story, and I think it's pretty irrefutable that Carton is a comeback story. He lost a lot, not just his profession, but his family. I don't necessarily think I have opinions on the matter because I don't watch what he does. I watch it on mute and find it curious that Craig Carton is talking to Tim Hardaway about Messi going to Miami. I'm sure it's a fine show. But Peter Rosenberg, who I respect greatly in this industry, had this seemingly to say about Craig Carton. LOL, the dude that committed fraud, embarrassed the whole station, went to jail, was accepted back by them, did well, and immediately leaves for more money. Wow, you can't write it.
Again, I will go back to he has suffered by his own doing and by his own admission and has been accountable to that suffering. He takes all the blame for everything that happened there and should. And I do like comeback stories, and I like forgiveness. So I say again, not about him. You could just make him an avatar. You can make him a symbol. Like, I'm not talking about him. Just convicted felon X being able to climb back up the ladder when convicted.
You seem to be only giving details about him.
Well, but he's the only one that has this precedent.
Forgive others too. Forgive
Others too. Forgive others too.
Forgive everybody for
forgive
their,
everyone.
for
Forgive
their
everyone.
mistakes and
I don't know
everyone
about
else.
everybody.
Literally
I don't know
doing a
about
show next to Tim Hardaway.
You think Skip drives to California to get in and out?
What does this take?
But is Craig Carton that good? Like, I don't know
Is
his
that Bishop
game.
to Rook 9? I think it's Bishop to Rook 9.
I don't know him on the air. Honestly, I don't know whether he deserves this, whether he doesn't. Tell me.
This is a new and unimproved Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz. Gamble on by DraftKings.